Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how to descale my Rinnai tankless water heater. Now when I say descaling, now you notice like maybe after a year or so, close to 2 years, usually scales can build up inside the piping system. Because the place where I live, the water is pretty hard and scaling is a bigger problem. If you have a water softener at home, sometimes you can go up to 3-4 years but you don't need descaling. But in my case, my Rinnai water heater it's almost reached 3 years, and I think the descaling is needed. I found it on Amazon. They sell these kits, descaling kits, for close to about $200. And when I looked at it, all it had was a pump and a few hoses, and of course some descaling elements. Now what I did is I went ahead and I purchased, you see here, this is a very simple submersible water pump. This one is a Descale water pump, 1x4 horsepower, about $50 on Amazon. And all you need is these hoses. These are about 6 feet long, very similar to the ones you use in the washing machine. I like the one where it's kind of angled here at the end. I'll show you why it's important. You need two of them. Like the one I'm holding in my hand, the other one is connected to the submersible water pump. All right, so the idea is simple. Now, if you, the process to start this is obviously some safety involved. So make sure that you first need to unplug the water heater. There we go. So it'll take a while. You see all the lights are gone off. So once that's taken care, now you can see every area will have a gas shut off, and you can see the line showing like in line with the pipe, showing that the gas is on. And now to shut it off, you want to just make sure that, so you have to see one way it should go. You can see there, now it's perpendicular, showing that now the gas is shut off. So that's the first two safety things, is make sure you unplug and shut off the gas before you do anything. Okay, now I want you to take a good look at your water heater. Now if this is less than 10 years old, usually what happens is the person who installed this, the plumber, they would have given an extra service port. Now I'm just gonna angle my camera. So this is the hot water line. You can see here it's in line, and on the side here there's an extra port. You can see there. So that's a service port we're gonna use to flush this water tank. All right, so if you don't have this service line, just don't proceed. Like you may probably need to get another plumber or someone to do this. If you have a service port, you can do this in no time. You don't need a plumber. This is a DIY project. You can do it at home. And you can see here even my cold water line. So there is, I'm going to show this at an angle, my finger. So that is the service port right there. There's an extra one you can open and connect the hoses there, right? Okay, let's get this started. All right, the first step is, you see the cold water line right here. So we need to shut that off. Just go this way, and I'm going to go up, and you can see here, so that's shut off. I'm going to come over there. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to turn it up, and you can see here now the cold water line is shut off, and the hot water line is also shut off too. The service port is still shut off. You can see the vertical. Don't open that now, because you're going to do that once you connect the hoses too. So the idea is pretty simple. Now you can see here, this is my submersible water pump. So one end of the hose is connected to the water pump, and here is the other end. I'll show you here. See, this end is going to go to the cold line. Okay, so which means it's going to pump into my cold line, and I'm going to have another hose connected to this back into the thing, right? So, okay, you notice that I have this big container here. Now the kits will usually come with a plastic container. Like I found this, that's why it's economical. If you have anything like this, just use it. It's good enough. It's all empty right now. Now the Rinnai recommends just use cooking vinegar, and that's all they recommend. They, you don't need any fancy descaling elements, because that's what Rinnai says. So you need about I got 4 jugs, which is about like close to 15 liters is what you need. So I'm going to pour all of this vinegar into this container, and I'm going to immerse. You can see here, I'm just going to immerse that sump, and I'm going to have one of this line connected to the cold line. I'm going to show you the loop, how it's going to work right now. All right, there you go. See, my loop is connected. So one end into the pump, and you can see here the other end is connected to the cold line, which is right here on the service port. All right, I'm just going to come out. All right, let's see here. And you can see here the other line. That's why I like this angle one, because my service line is facing that way. So when I use an angle line, I don't have my tube to bend, but rather it's like this little angle really helps. So you can see here from the hot service line, and you can see here that line goes right inside this pail right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of that vinegar and put it in here in the container, and I'm going to plug the pump. And what the pump is going to do is it's going to take the vinegar into this pipe, into the cold line, and circulate it inside the water heater, and then bring it out of the hot line back to the pail here. So this is going to circulate for about like 1 hour. That's recommended for. So about 60 minutes, just leave the pump running. And what's going to happen is when I come back, most probably all that clear vinegar, it's going to be nice and cloudy, indicating that all the scales which are built inside the tubes is going to be loosened up, and then my water is going to be like back to its original shape, where it's going to work like fantastic. Okay, let's see how that's going to work. Okay, let me go and pour the vinegar down there, and then let's get this started. Right, you can see the clear vinegar in there. So everything is dropped down. I put in all the 3 jars. All right, remember, the main water line is closed. Now it's time to open up the service water line. All right, go. I open this, and then do the same for the hot side service water line. So what I've done is I've created an opening here. So this vinegar is going to go in, and it's going to come out by using this pump. All right, so let's connect the pump. It's right here. There we go. I can hear the water pump is running. You can see here the vinegar is going up into the tank, and it's going to come down over here, and you can see it. That's it. Right, I'm just going to leave that for about 60 minutes. I'm just going to come back and see for the results. All right, let's keep the fingers crossed. So just before you leave, just make sure check for any leaks. You don't want the vinegar leaking and making a mess everywhere. I used a wrench to tighten these just to make sure that it'll create a nice airtight seal. All right, let's hope for the best. Well, let's see you back after 60 minutes. All right, everyone, it's almost been an hour. This pump has been running. I just got into a bit of a problem. The container I had was leaking at the bottom, so I have to figure out a way to use my cooler box to have the same vinegar filled in, and you can see the pump is still running there. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to unplug the pump. There we go. The pump stopped. Then you're going to hear some water recede back from the tube to the pump into the container, and you see that the color of the vinegar is changed. It was all clear. So this clearly indicates that there's a lot of scaling in my pipe, and it has all been removed. All right. Okay. So now let's see what's the next step is. So the next step, what we're going to do is, now you can see the hot water line. I'm not going to remove that. I'm going to keep it on, and I'm only going to remove the cold water, the service line out, and just make sure to close the valve, and then open the cold water valve. So I'm going to use regular street water to flush all the leftover vinegar from in there back into the container. So you got to run this as per the manual. It says you got to run that for about 5 minutes. So that's going to be a lot of water. So you better be ready to have enough containers to catch the water and dump safely. A lot of houses may have like an outlet for water. If you have them, you're lucky you can use them. If not, you definitely need a lot of containers too. All right. Now, there's a couple of things while you're here. There's two things you may need to know or do. So one is, you notice, I'm just going to take my camera closer. So that's a cold water line, and every tankless water heater will have a small valve here. See, that's a filter. So you need to remove that filter, and this is the best time to clean the filter, because that filter just make sure that any water coming from the street just captures any sediments in there. So you need to clean that. And there's also another filter inside this unit. It'd be a good idea to clean that as well. So on my Rinnai, if I just take this sleeves off, there's two sleeves, and you can see here there are 4 screws. 1, 2, 3, there's 4. If you take these 4 screws off, I can take this piece off and I can show you where the filter is located. There you go. I removed the front cover, and this is the inside of the water heater. You can see there. So pretty much all this piping is where the scaling was all like removed. So that part is done. Now on my Rinnai, on the top right here where it says, that's the location of the filter. So it just says pull. Just gonna pull it out, and you can see here, that's a filter. I know mine's clean because I already cleaned mine, but you usually see on the top here, there's a lot of lint-like dust. So make sure to run it under the tap water, dry it well, and put it back. This would be the best time to do this, because the system should be turned off to clean this filter. You never keep it on. So because the gas is still off, there's no power running, be the best time. And I'm just going to slide it back in here. So that's a filter. So make sure that's clean. And I'm going to open up this bottom one, which is right here. I'm going to show you what's in there. And you can see I got this long nose plier, which I'm going to use right there. And then just a twist. Let's try that again. And there we go. So that's going to just unscrew off right from there. So that's a filter. I'm going to pull it out. Okay, let's take it off. And there we go. So that's the filter for the cold water line. Looks fairly clean. That's kind of good news. I'm just going to run it under tap water. Just blow with a little bit of air. Just remove anything in there. And then it should be good to go back in there. There we go. That little filter is back in its place. Alright, you can see the service line on the cold side. I remove the tube, and then I turn this service line tap to the perpendicular position, so it's turned off. Now what's going to happen is, be careful, don't open the cold line yet. Okay, just make sure that the hot line is still connected to the tub. Be ready. So I'm just going to remove the water pump away. Just let all the water drain. Technically it's vinegar, not water. So let all the vinegar drain there. And then just have another container. Just drop the pump, put it away. That's a cold water line still connected. Don't let any water drain here and there. Just make sure it's all in the bucket. Okay, the gas line is still off. Careful, don't turn it on. The power is not back. Do not plug it in yet. So what I'm going to do is take a look here. Now I need to flush all the vinegar out of the system for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to turn the cold line on right here. And you can hear the sound. Full force. You can see here. So this is going to just clear out any leftover vinegars in the system. Run it for about 5 minutes. You may have to keep changing the water quite often, because mine can't take that much. And you can see here. So that's street water coming in there, and then going in, and then circulating out and coming back in the container. All right, best time to check for leaks, especially that one there. This is the filter we cleaned. Make sure there's no leaks. All good. That's clean. This is already clean. You're all set. So 5 minutes, run the water, and job done. All right, guys, good luck doing this by yourself. This is how you descale and flush your tankless water heater. Mine is a Rinnai. All the best. Oh, I almost forgot one final step, guys. See, all the water is flushed out. So to finish off the process, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close off the service port of the hotline, remove this hose, and then when everything is all good, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the hotline, and the cold line is already open up, so that's all good. Like, I'm just going to open that as well. And then to reverse the process, make sure check for all leaks. There's no leaks at all. And then, just replace the front cover for this. And I'm going to open up the gas, and I'm going to put in the power back on, see how the unit performs. There you go. Service valves are closed. The shut-off valve for the service port is also closed for both ends. So now I'm going to open up the cold line, and I'm going to open up the hot line as well. Just check for any leaks. So far so good, no issues. Everything looks great. So I'm just going to come over here, open up the gas port. There we go. The gas is open. I'm just going to bring, there we go. And then power on. Give it a couple of seconds for the pump to restart. There we go. Pump is started. All looks good. There's no leaks anywhere. Okay. I'm going to wait for the pump to restart, and then I'm going to check, see if I can get some hot water. All done.